J. Cole owned it, he apologized, and he should be applauded for what he did. Now, to be honest, when I first heard that he apologized to Kendrick, I was disappointed. You know, I'm a huge J. Cole fan. Don't listen to too much, secular music and rap music, but I am a J. Cole fan. And when I heard he was finally, looking to battle Kendrick just for the sport of it, I was disappointed, and I had to honestly catch myself, especially after I heard his speech, that he did at the Dreamville, festival. He's been getting a lot of backlash for his apology. And when I sat back and I truly dissected and I heard everything that he said in his speech, what I said in the beginning of this video is exactly what needs to happen. He needs to be applauded for what he did. Now, that doesn't mean he's not at fault. He's at fault because at the past couple years, he's been bragging how he's, number one. He's been talking about his skills and how he separated himself from his pack, And when you do that, in the rap culture, when you put yourself out there, you're going to get tested, And for his fan base, we've been believing in him. He exalted himself. He put himself in that position. And when it came time, to show and prove, when his spirit convicted him and he saw within himself that he wasn't at peace because, truly I believe he didn't want to go down that path. We've seen the Drake diss and, how far it's starting to go. I don't believe that he was fearful of Kendrick. I believe that he has respect for him. And when he saw, people questioning Kendrick's career, his albums, I truly feel like within himself, he didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. Not to say that he was fearful of him, it's just that he didn't want to take it there. And because of that, I applaud J. Cole because he was able to examine himself, see that he lost his way, because if you know anything about J. Cole, he moves to the beat of his own drum. He's a rapper that I grew accustomed to. He doesn't conform to the world, He follows his own path, his own journey. And for the first time, I feel like he conformed. He did something that the world wanted him to do, that his peers wanted him to do. And he put out that diss track when it truly wasn't in his heart. It wasn't in his spirit to do it. It wasn't in his soul. And in his speech, he says that. He says it didn't sit right with him. He feels as though it was the lamest thing he's ever done. I mean, come on, the lamest thing he's ever done. And he had to apologize. He wasn't at peace. And I don't know, how religious J. Cole is, but to me, I feel like that was his message, his speech. It was so powerful because you literally see one of the, when it comes to the rap culture, to the rap game, you saw one of the kings, one of the top dogs, and he basically had an opportunity to cement himself as the greatest of this generation. And he chose his peace. He chose himself. He chose what he felt like where God was leading him to. And in his speech, he even says, I lost my way. I lost my path. And he apologized and he said, I'm gonna fight to get it back. And I feel like regardless, and like I said, I can raise my hand. I was disappointed because I can't lie, my flesh took a hold of me and I was like, hey, I want to see this play out. But I can respect J. Cole to the utmost for choosing his peace over what the world wanted, for going down a path, that to us seems foolish. That's between him and God. And to literally be on the top of the rap game, everybody's saying you're number one. Everybody's anticipating, waiting on your next move. And you choose to sit it out, to bow out. You know, take your diss off the streaming platforms, you know. And he apologized, you know. I don't know what else anyone can expect from him because he's human. And like all humans, we lose our way, we make mistakes, but it's all about how you move forward. And he has to, you know, he has to live with the consequences because he did. He basically galvanized the troops. He had his fan base ready to go because he set it up. You know, the past couple years, he's been beating his chest. He's been talking about the big three. So when it came time, everyone was ready to back him. And he let a lot of his fan base down, and he has to live with that. But two things can be true. You can disappoint. You can disappoint, you know, your fans, your loved ones, and at the same time, you can remain true to who you are, pick yourself up, and go down the path that God intended you to go down. He conformed for a second, but he woke up. He recognized it. He was quick to own it before he continued to travel down that path, and it could have gotten caught up in something way worse than where he's already at. And I can appreciate that. As a fan of his, I can appreciate that. Yeah, I might not have gotten a battle, or I didn't get an opportunity to see him, you know, compete in the sport of rap, but I got to see something else. I got to see a man choose himself over what the world wants. Choose God's paths over what the world's path. And isn't that what Paul told us in Romans 12 too? Don't conform. Don't conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You gotta set yourself apart. And like I said, with 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14, it's going to seem foolish to the natural man. You're not going to understand it. Because when that spirit convicts you, unless you walk in that same type of walk, unless you walk in that same type of faith, going down that same path, living a purpose-driven life, you know, trying to make change, not trying just to fit in, not just trying to be cool, you ain't going to understand it. So I applaud you, J. Cole. I had to check myself. I applaud you. That's what a real man does. You went with your own flow. And more of us need to continue to do the same. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and talk to you soon. I'm out.